Zach wants to know what's wrong with Trae Young. He asked this question in one of our Spurs Nation groups, and to provide a little context, one of the main conversations going around in these groups is which young guard are the Spurs going to pair to grow alongside Victor Wembanyama? Is it going to be someone in the draft? Is it going to be a Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Darius Garland type player? Or are we going to go with somebody slightly more established, somebody like Trae Young? A lot of these questions have been floating around, and some of the answers that we've been seeing in regards to Trae Young have been negative. It's been everyone having an issue with Trae Young coming to San Antonio. So Zach again wants to ask the question, what's wrong with Trae Young? And I did not intend for this to turn into a yap session about Trae Young, but I guess we're here now. I think his first major problem is a comparison issue. I think ever since draft night, he's always been linked to Luka. His career has been attached to Luka. And I think whenever you make the Luka-Trae comparison, Trae looks a little underwhelming, not because he's played in an underwhelming way, but just because Luka looks so good. And so I think that's a problem for Trae Young in certain ways. I also think when you look at his style of play, he looks very similar and plays a very similar style to what we see from Steph Curry. And so he gets viewed as like a poor man Steph Curry in some ways, as a guy that is a young, shifty guard. He's quick. He can space the floor. He can shoot from just about anywhere when he gets past half court. So yeah, there's a lot of comparisons in Trae Young's world, and none of them paint him in a really good light. And the second thing I'm going to mention is his defense. I know everybody loves to talk about Trae Young's defense. Trae Young isn't a good defender. If he was a stronger defender, he would be so-and-so. You know what? I'm not going to even take it there because I don't think he's a bad defender. I think people blow that way out of proportion. I think he is a pretty good team defender, but when you put him in certain isolation situations where he has to defend somebody bigger and stronger, more physical than him on an island, yeah, sure, he gets exposed a lot. But within a team context, within a team defensive scheme, he shows up to play. And lastly, the thing that people love to bring up is the fact that he could be a more efficient player. A lot of his game is prioritized around three-point shooting and shooting from beyond the arc in very, very dramatic fashion from a very far distance. And when you don't shoot 40% from beyond the arc and you're around a 35% three-point shooter for your career, you're potentially going to get criticized for doing those things. And it's not that he takes really difficult threes, but I think that he puts himself in positions to take difficult threes. And generally, these are the three things that people will bring up when they bring up Trae Young. They'll say that he's too small, he can't defend anyone, he's a shot chucker, he takes bad shots, or that he was drafted alongside of Luka, and look how good Luka's doing. They're going to point to one of these three things. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about bringing Trae Young to San Antonio to play alongside of Victor Wembanyama, I am all for that because I still feel like Trae Young has some growth left to his game. Could there be a point guard that could be a potentially better fit in San Antonio? I don't know. We'll eventually see. But I think Trae Young could be that guy. What do y'all think?